Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be going over part 10 of my video series for Opera Omnia called the X Factor. We're going to be covering the EX weapons this time for Agrias, Locke, and Vanille. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the video. So some things to remember when watching, this is for those of you that are brand new to the channel or brand new to the series. EX weapons do grant a character 70 CP. It does have a maximum limit of 80 CP when they're fully leveled and limit broken. EX abilities themselves have a recast speed ranging from slow to fast, and then the video series is intended not only to show off the weapons themselves, but also help newer players and free-to-play players understand if these characters can still be useful even without them, because EX weapons, as we know, do have the lowest drop rate amongst all the 5-star weapons that you can acquire in Opera Omnia. Now the first weapon we're going to go over is Agrias' Save the Queen. So Save the Queen is going to give her the EX ability Hallowed Bolt. I personally like to call it Lightning Stab because I'm an old school Final Fantasy Tactics player, but Hallowed Bolt is a 4-hit AoE melee brave plus AoE HP attack with a 240% brave damage potency. The AoE HP damage to all targets is dealt at 100%, so you don't have to worry about it being split or splash damage. It also inflicts a unique debuff called Silence for 1 turn on all targets, and what Silence does is it prevents the usage of Brave and Brave plus HP magic attacks. However, you want to keep in mind that in order to have access to this debuff, the weapon itself needs to be 2 out of 3 limit break. It does have a slow recast speed on this ability. Now at 1 limit break, it's going to be giving a Brave damage increase for the EX ability Hallowed Bolt. At 2, it allows the ability to now inflict that unique debuff Silence, and then at 3, it raises the recast speed for Hallowed Bolt. So the verdict on this weapon is, if you have this weapon, it definitely pushes Agrias' control utility to another level. So her second ability has the potential to inflict Paralyze on all targets. However, remember, it is at a low percentage rate, but if you have this, it gives her another opportunity to be able to control the enemy, preventing them from utilizing powerful magic attacks. And a majority of bosses, as we've seen, especially with the current content that we've been getting in Opera Omnia, uses pretty powerful magic attacks. So having this EX weapon can definitely allow Agrias to control a majority of the tough enemies. Without this EX weapon, she still can function fairly well because she does have that awesome unique buff that she provides to characters as an aura, and then she also has that paralysis. However, if you plan on using this character for a while, which I highly recommend that you do, it is a worthwhile investment for this amazing character. Now, the first banner appearance for this weapon does appear on the character event itself for Agrias, and it does repeat itself when Agrias receives her lost chapters later on in the game. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the second EX weapon, which is going to be Locke's Assassin Dagger. So the Assassin Dagger is going to be giving him the ability called Mirage Dive. It is a 7-hit melee Brave plus HP attack. It has a 350% Brave damage potency with a Brave overflow of up to 150% of his max Brave. It grants him the unique buff called Treasure Hunter for 6 turns. And what Treasure Hunter does is it increases his attack and max Brave by 20% and also his speed by a small amount. And Treasure Hunter, at the end of Locke's turn, will either restore Locke's Brave by 40% of his initial Brave, or his HP by 10% of his HP amount. Just want to keep that in mind, that it's either one, it's not both. It would have been nice if it was both, but hey, he's a treasure hunter, so I guess the whole theme is like he finds a treasure and it's always different at the end of his turn or something like that. It does have a normal recast speed on this ability. Now at 1 limit break, it increases the Brave damage for Mirage Dive. At 2, it raises the recast speed for Mirage Dive. And then at 3, this one is pretty cool, it increases the break bonus gained by the party by 100%. And keep in mind, this is stackable with Bahamut's Blessing. So what is my verdict on this EX weapon? So it's amazing to have this on Locke, and I highly recommend that you pull for it if you plan on using him past his initial release. The greatest thing that this weapon offers is that break bonus. So Bahamut right now, currently in the game, is one of the best summons by far. His blessing is super easy to use, and the fact that this can stack, the break bonus that you get from the 3 limit break from this weapon can stack with Bahamut's blessing, it makes Locke essentially best friends with Bahamut. And without his EX, He's a bit of an average damage dealing unit. We don't have him yet in global, but I'm just going to say outright, he's a bit of an average damage dealing unit. He's similar to Zell, where he grants himself a unique buff, but it'll also dispel another buff that he already has, and it does that back and forth, so it kind of limits his damaging potential. So you definitely want this on him if you plan on using him past his initial release. Now the first banner appearance, as we can see, is on his character event, when we actually get this character, and it does repeat on his lost chapters. And the final EX weapon we're going to talk about is Vanille's EX weapon, which is going to be called the Tigerclaw. So the Tigerclaw is going to give her the EX ability called Death. So what Death does is it's a 3-hit non-elemental magic brave plus HP attack. It has a 300% brave damage potency with a brave overflow of up to 150% of her max brave. It inflicts a unique debuff called Confusion Storm for 1 turn, and Confusion Storm deals a 1-hit non-elemental magic brave attack to the target at the end of its turn with a 150% brave damage potency. You do want to keep in mind that if the target is debuffed, it gets an increased 1.5 times % in damage if the target is debuffed with that Confusion Storm. So it does have a slightly fast recast speed, forgot to mention that, and at 1 limit break it has a brave damage increase for Death. At 2, it grants her a unique buff, which is pretty cool because Vanille can now buff herself up with something unique called Oerba's Blessing for 5 turns after you use the ability. Now what Oerba's Blessing does is it increases attack, speed, and the brave damage she deals based on the number of debuffs on the target. So more debuffs you have, the more damage she deals, which is pretty cool. And then at 3 limit break, it raises the recast speed of Death. Now, what is the verdict on this EX weapon, Tigerclaw? So it gives Vanille more oomph, because one of the things that Vanille has issues with is dealing damage. She's a great debuffer, and now with her awakening that we currently got in the global version of the game, she can also be a support. She gives battery with her dispel, so she's pretty good, but she lacks damage. So if you have this weapon, not only does it give her more damage potential, but now it gives her that cool, unique debuff. So what it does is at the end of the turn, because Confusion Storm actually deals the damage there, it actually puts the target at a breakable range, or closer to a breakable range. And also the fast recast speed on this EX ability is pretty cool. So essentially she could fire this off quite often. So she is great. It's going to make her very, very good, especially for longer fights, because you can actually use this EX ability quite often, and without it she's still a solid debuffer. Just keep in mind though, she is going to lack damage. Now the first appearance of this weapon does appear on the Ifrit Ultimate Trial banner, however it does have yet to repeat. It has yet to repeat in the JP version of the game. Now they could change that in the global version of the game, but right now hasn't repeated yet. Alright guys, well that is going to conclude part 10 of the X Factor. Hopefully this video helps you guys out as far as these 3 EX weapons that we have yet to see in the global version of the game. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway saying stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.